About your earlier post this afternoon on social media about this $20 million in cash in terms of the transfer through Kotoka International Airport, you had cause to raise concerns about the BOG and some concerns about consignee, amongst others. We are getting statements tonight from the Bank of Ghana as well as the Central Bank of Liberia. Both statements seek to clarify that there's a long-standing cash custody agreement where the BOG provides overnight custody for CBL when shipped from London by Travelex Currency. They also go on to mention, at least from the BOG's part, that relevant stakeholders are officially informed about this. You must be a relevant stakeholder. Are you not aware about this particular arrangement? They detect mischief actually in the publication.
So, to answer your question directly, I'm not one of the stakeholders that these letters were copied to. And you can check with Parliament and with MPs. We have not been copied these letters. Now, it is important to state that the concerns raised had to do with the way and manner this particular transaction was carried out. Insiders were concerned about the inconsistency with the supporting documents. And if you pay regard to the way bill that I published from my unimpeachable sources, you see the discrepancy. The way bill and other supporting documents did not align with the August 21, 2024 letter from the BOG. And that is why I raised questions. I indicated that I was tracking. Note that I didn't pass any conclusive judgment. I said that I was tracking, I was monitoring. Indeed, the figure that I put out, initially there were attempts to question that figure. I saw the President's Council write on social media that how do I know about the amount. Now the Central Bank of Liberia has confirmed that indeed my figure was accurate. The $20 million I put out is accurate. And now that we have these clarifications, because I did indicate that we are monitoring, we are going to make sure that there are no diversions. And it's part of our work as members of Parliament to carry out oversight, to let all institutions know that we are on top of our job, we are watching, we are keenly monitoring, and we are carrying out oversight.
Well, a few questions, key questions, Mr. Ablakwa. You are a member of Parliament, long-standing also a committee member of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. If you were actually seeking clarity on this when you got this information, considering that Liberia and other countries involved, was social media the way to go to be able to get that clarity you're looking for?
Definitely. Social media is a very key medium. Just like traditional media, you want everybody who is part of this to know that there is a monitoring process and that members of Parliament are carrying out their oversight and they are watching. It's exactly the objective you want to achieve by using social media, and that is why I did what I did. And I always put out the relevant documentation, so nobody can say that this was just a figment of my imagination or I was concocting. I mean, here we are. We have a confirmation of the figure. We have certain clarifications that are coming up, and it's all good. It's all well and good, and we'll continue to monitor. We'll continue to carry out our oversight.
It's not about the issue of concocting per se is the concern. The issue about putting out flight details, considering that it involves another country, Liberia, also Ghana, and the fact that it raises national security concerns is the concern.
These flight details were not put out by me. They put out those details in their documents. In my write-up, I didn't put out any flight details. And there have been no flight details on the re-exportation as and when that re-exportation will be carried out. We are carrying out our mandate. It's pure oversight, and I do not see the national security breach in this matter.
But this document you talk about, Mr. Ablakwa, was not put out by the BOG in the public domain. You actually did.
And so? So how does that constitute a breach of national security?
I mean, considering that there's $20 million involved here that needs to be transferred to another country, there are serious security concerns in the transfer of that particular amount. The BOG in this statement talks about the sensitivity of this, considering that you have another country's currency in Ghana's custody.
So we are suggesting that we don't have money in Ghana. The BOG doesn't keep money. I really don't get all of this red herring. And how does that compromise? Are we saying that we should not pursue transparency? We should not hold institutions accountable, particularly when we have serious concerns, when documentations are not aligning, when current documentations differ from previous.
But is social media the tool to use to hold the BOG accountable, considering the sensitive nature of the matter we're talking about?
I do not. These are matters of opinion. I do not share those opinions, and I do not see any breach in national security. I don't see. I mean, how has this publication jeopardized? Have the funds been lost? I mean, I really don't get these bizarre claims of national security. Look, everybody will have to be accountable. And as public officials, we are not above scrutiny. We are not above transparent mechanisms to ensure that we are accountable when there are serious matters of concern.
We get the accountability part you talk about, but considering the fact that the arrangement or the agreement between the two countries is an overnight custody and they will have to ship the money back maybe tomorrow, and we've put out flight details and all the details about it, you say it doesn't jeopardize it at all. In hindsight, do you think that this is the way you should have gone?
It appears to me you have not read the publication, the documents. Those flight details out there are flight details of a flight that has already arrived. Nobody has put out flight details of an outstanding flight, of a re-exportation that will or may occur. Nobody has done that. So I don't see the red herring here. Look, at the end of the day, in an era where we are having increased cases of money laundering, increased cases of terrorist financing, talk to the National Security Minister. These are matters that have been presented to us in Parliament. We all must be on the alert. We all must be concerned. And we are carrying out our mandate, our constitutional mandate of oversight. That is exactly what we are doing. We haven't put out any flight details of a future flight or an imminent flight. Nothing has been done. And indeed, I made sure that these matters had been concluded, they had cleared the funds, and they were not in transit when I raised the legitimate questions which I raised.
So the explanation that both central banks have given so far to the concerns that you raised, the questions that you raised, does it suffice?
It will appear satisfactory at this point, but we will keep monitoring. We have systems in place to.
Well, we'll leave it here, but you disagree that any harm has been caused by your publication?
We may have lost him there, but that there is somebody who did Ablakwa. I want to hear your thoughts on this 205511119997.